Joining us now to talk about airport security and the Department of Homeland Security is the Texas Congressman Will Hurd. He's a member of the House Homeland Security Committee. He's also on the Committee on Government Oversight. Congressman, thanks very much for joining us. Are you convinced at this point it was a bomb and that it was ISIS related, either ISIS or some affiliate of ISIS?
Being convinced 100% is difficult, but it looks like it was ISIS. There's still reviews ongoing, but we should treat it as such. And this would be a significant departure from ISIS's tactics and techniques in the region. And it's even more reason that we should be focused on them and stopping them in Syria and Iraq.
And the assumption is that they had an insider at that airport in Sharm el-Sheikh that planted that bomb, assuming it is a bomb, on that aircraft.
That's one of the scenarios that's being discussed. I don't think technical issues have been ruled out as if somebody put it in baggage and it got through. We don't know the answers to that yet, but that's something that I know TSA is going to be looking at very closely, as will airports around the world. An important thing to note is, you know, what happens at an airport like in Sharm el-Sheikh versus what happens in Washington, D.C. or somewhere else is very different, and TSA is increasing their screening of luggage that's coming from key regions overseas. And the House passed a legislation earlier this year saying that every airport needs to go through and review the security access controls. You know, where can their workers get access to into the sensitive areas of an airport?
Because there's almost, as we said, nearly 900,000 workers at 450 airports in the United States. Does more need to be done right now?
I think we could always do more. I think we can always do more to continue to protect the American people. And protecting against that insider threat is a very difficult thing to do. Additional screenings of the workers that are working there, and then also making sure we know where our workers have access to in these areas, and technical measures as well.
If it was ISIS or some ISIS-affiliated group, why would they go after a Russian airline with 224 people on board, almost all of whom were Russians? Why would they target Russia? Was the attack designed to hurt Russia or designed to hurt Egypt, for example, or send a broader message?
I think, you know, the design was to hurt Egypt, I think more so than Russians. But here's one of those areas where ISIS's information campaigns are pretty significant. Nobody's talking about how ISIS is killing innocent people. They're beating their chests on social media saying, you know, they're taking the fight to the bad guys, but they're killing innocent folks. That message needs to get out there to folks that are trying to combat them.
Because you spent 9 years in the CIA as a clandestine officer. You understand intelligence. Social media, this whole social media, these guys are recruiting ISIS a lot more supporters now as a result of the murder of these 224 people, which is hard for us to understand. Why is this so attractive to them?
Look, we can't think about this problem through our own mindsets. It's a different world. When I was chasing al-Qaeda in places like Pakistan and Afghanistan, al-Qaeda would do something called night letters. They would write a letter and leave it on a doorstep. Now ISIS is hitting tens of millions of people a day leveraging social media. They're encouraging, saying, come get a sense of adventure, get off the couch and stop playing video games and come do the real thing. But the reality is that if a young man is going to fight with ISIS in Syria and Iraq, they're more likely to get a bomb dropped on their head than they are to find a sense of adventure.
Is the U.S. up to this mission? Because ISIS clearly and al-Qaeda, they're good in social media. Has the U.S. and its allies stepped up to the plate?
We haven't, and that's what we need to do a better job. Department of Homeland Security has created a new coordinator for CVE, that's countering violent extremism, but it can't be the U.S. government alone to do these things. It has to be a whole, all of our partners, our Sunni Arab partners in the region, non-state actors need to get involved in this process, but we also need to take the fight to them on the ground. The intelligence, our intelligence posture in Syria and Iraq is not where I think it needs to be. We can use the example of Afghanistan from 2001 as a model, and we need to work closer with groups to stop ISIS on the ground.
Congressman Will Hurd, a Republican of Texas, thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you.